Hello everyone. Welcome in this fifth session of Target Publications Standard 8 Notes Book Review Series. And today we are going to talk about Standard 8 History and Civics Notes. Okay. Alright. Now students, I welcome you on board Standard 8, a stepping stone towards your Standard 10th board examinations. So from now onwards, your studies should have been more focused. It should be more concentrated. It should be more systematic. The answer writing should be precise, to the point, and more marks oriented. Right? Over and above that, you all know that this year's Standard 8 History Civics syllabus has been revised with a new textbook. So what's there in this new textbook? What do you have new in history? What do you have new in civics? Okay, let us have a small glimpse of that. This year's history deals with India's freedom struggle. Okay, it starts with how Indian subcontinent got colonized by the European powers, and how thereafter the India's freedom struggle continued against especially the Britishers, that is the East India Company. Okay, it tells us all about how the different freedom fighters, about their movements, also about the revolutionaries, that is the armed revolution, and how all of these together helped India gain its independence on 15th of August 1947. Okay, now that's about history. Also, after the freedom struggle explanation, there is a chapter which tells us about how the various princely states in India got merged with the Indian Republic by diplomacy with the help of some eminent leaders, right? There is also one chapter which tells us about the formation of the state of Maharashtra, how the state of Maharashtra came into being, what were the struggles which led to this outcome, how Mumbai became a part of Maharashtra. This will be dealt in the last chapter of history. Moving on to civics. Civics this year deals with the parliament. Okay, it includes the union executive. Now, what is union executive? It comprises of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Thereafter, we will also see about the judicial system of India, the Indian judiciary. What are the different types of courts, how the judges of these courts are appointed, etc. We will also learn in short about the functioning of the state government, how the chief minister is elected, how the other representatives of people are elected, etc. They are working, they are functioning. The last chapter of civics will deal with the bureaucracy, how the diplomatic officers, the bureaucratic officers are selected. Is there any examination which these people have to give to become a part of the bureaucracy? Everything you will learn in the last chapter of civics. So that was a snapshot about what is there in Standard 8 Revised History and Civics textbook. Now, to be able to appear for examination of this subject, you will have to understand the concepts very well. Also, this new revised syllabus has an important focus of understanding and then writing answers rather than the typical rote learning, right? You may have already experienced this change in syllabus, this change in the method of learning from your 6th standard revised syllabus, the 7th standard revised syllabus, and now the 8th standard revised syllabus, correct? So, to help you understand and then write the examinations, our experts have extensively researched the subject and prepared exhaustive reference material for you students, right? And we present to you through these notes of history and civics. Now, how this book will be helpful and useful to you students? What are the important features that you need to look out to, right? Let us see what's there in this book of Standard 8 Target Publications History and Civics Notes. Now, first of all, every chapter in this notes begins with a small section known as important terms. In this section, we have basically picked up those new words, those new terms which have been introduced in that particular chapter and given a very short description of the same. Now, once you understand these terms, it will obviously be easy for you to understand the chapter, the concept, isn't it? After this, in the history chapters, we have included a section, sequence of events. In this particular section, we have mentioned all the historical events which have been mentioned in that particular chapter in a chronological order. We have given them in chronological order. This gives you a short snapshot, a short overview of that chapter as to what are the different things explained, which are the different events which have been covered in that chapter. So very important from historical study point of view. Moving ahead, we have all the objective type of questions. Now, objective type of questions, as usually, they will include fill in the blanks, match the columns, name the following, complete the chart, complete the concept map, complete the table, answer in one sentence. Also an important type of question, isn't it? Again, in the history chapters, there are two more type of objective questions which are very important. One, arrange the following in chronological order. That is, arrange the events in chronological order, or rather, and complete the timeline. Yes, these two are based on the section which we have given earlier, sequence of events. In fact, these two questions need that you understand the flow of the historical events which have been given in that particular chapter. Correct? So, with this, we complete the objective type of questions. Thereafter, there are question answers, right? They cover answer in brief, write short notes, as well as give reasons. Okay. Now, these long answers or these question answers, we expect students to write them in their own words, right? That is, you understand the concept, understand the chapter, the topic, and then answer these questions on your own. For this, we have answered the questions in our notes in a point-wise form. So that makes students helpful in learning the answer point-wise. You can understand what's given in each point and then replicate the same in the examination in your own words. Isn't that very helpful? Also, this will help you develop your historical and civics knowledge. Correct? Now, after this, there is a section known as apply your knowledge. This particular section covers the questions given in between the chapter. I call it the in-text questions. Yes, the questions given in between the chapter in your textbook have been answered, have been covered in this particular section. Thereafter, we have all the activities and projects given behind the chapter in the exercises. They also have been covered in our notes. Now, while answering the in-text questions and the activities and the projects, we have tried to answer as many of them as possible. However, we have kept some of them for the students to ponder over and answer. That is only so that students develop a method of thinking. Also, some of these questions require personal response, a response based on the local surroundings, the local area where the students reside. So, some of the answers students have to write in that manner. That is why we have kept for the students to attempt on their own, right? Also, I would like to make a point here. While answering this in-text questions, the activity-based questions, the project-based questions, we have taken information, a lot of information has been presented. Some of this information has been derived out of the chapter that is given in your textbook. However, some of the information has been taken from external sources. We have mentioned these sources exclusively in those answers at the point where we have taken them. Right? We have mentioned it at the end of the answer in that particular chapter. This will help you students to dig deeper and gain more knowledge from that particular source, right? You can also relate it with your daily life, with your surrounding areas. Also, this information might be very useful for you from your future point of view, isn't it? Correct. So, with this, we cover, or rather we have covered the entire chapter, leaving no part unattended, right? So, this gives you a complete coverage of the entire chapter, which you will be able to learn with ease with this type of questions, right? Now, after you learn something, after you understand something, after you gain a knowledge, isn't it necessary that you test whether you have actually retained the knowledge? What part of it have you retained? What part of it you need to revise again? For this to be tested, we have added a chapter assessment at the end of every chapter. This will have few type of questions covering as many different parts of the chapter as possible, which will test you how much you have retained and which will make you think again, right, and learn the concepts better. So these are our standard 8 history and civics notes for you, which will be very useful. I'm sure they will be very useful for you while giving your examinations and for understanding history and civics in a better way, right? So please buy your copy at this moment itself by clicking on the link given below. All right. Also, do not forget to like Target Publications page on Facebook and subscribe our channel on YouTube. The next session in this series will be conducted on Hindi Sulabh Bharati, that is on 12th of July, that is Thursday at 4 p.m. All right. So do not forget to log in. Thank you.